1, 2, 3.
When you caucus in Iowa, you have to know what you're walking into.
You get to think strategically about, okay, what is my first, second, and third choice?
But when you're trying to convince someone to caucus for your candidate, the issues speak louder than anything else.
Our country is facing issues the likes of which we hadn't even thought of years or decades ago.
A Newsy Market Predict poll shows top concerns for likely Democratic caucus goers, like healthcare. But our poll highlights an important contrast with national voter priorities. Climate isn't as high on the list here. And a vocal minority wants to change that.
You know, those events that are supposed to be every 500 years or 1,000 years are happening within a decade.
A demonstration in downtown Des Moines over the weekend made that clear.
The window for doing field work is getting smaller and smaller.
Jan Frank is a farmer.
No matter what, we're going to be changing the kinds of crops we grow in my farms because corn and soybean growing weather is moving further north. So we'll end up coming up with other crops. That means we need markets, and we don't have markets for anything but corn and soybeans right now.
That intersection of climate and economics brings more people into the fold. Our Newsy Market Predict findings show more than 60% of respondents ranked environment or the economy as their top issue. But when you look at how important issues are across the board, things change. On a scale of 1 to 10, Iowans ranked the economy north of 8, but the environment landed at about a 3. And that's why candidates like Amy Klobuchar may benefit from framing the climate crisis in economic terms.
And we have got to make that case for the floods, for the weird weather events, for the farmers not being able to plant.
If we don't have a president who believes in climate science by next year, we're never going to make it.
You can't just say, give up 3 years' income and fix this, change everything you're doing to something altogether different. It has to be phased in with some kind of respect for who they are.
But if policy doesn't change, Iowa farmers know the consequences.
I have land in southwest Iowa, and we had 3 6-inch rains last spring.
Huge swaths of rural Iowa and cities like Davenport flooded. And the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers reported dozens of levee breaches in Iowa, Missouri, and Nebraska.
I mean, they were underwater. They will not produce crops, and hopefully they'll be able to recover this year.
The Iowa Flood Center says storms here are projected to double in intensity by 2050. At the end of the day, these caucus goers know each candidate has a climate plan, and almost every single one mentions Midwest flooding. The question is, how much focus will stay here?
It's in the best interest of not only Iowans, but the world that we protect our resources.